EnglishSimmer here, and with the holidays fully upon us, oh my goodness, I need to get my Christmas shopping done, and I hope that this video is going to be helpful for those of you who are looking for what to put on your Christmas list or your holiday list, and also helpful to those of you looking for gifts for the gamers in your life. If you've been watching my content for a while, you will know that I am in fact sponsored by Elgato, which I personally find a privilege and also a dream come true because I absolutely adore Elgato and their products. So I thought, why not do a tier ranking video of all the Elgato products that I've ever owned. Quick little disclaimer, because I am partnered with Elgato, I received an awful lot of these products for free and they were gifted to me by Elgato so that I could make videos like this for you all. Starting off with the audio, we have the Elgato microphones. I'm recording on a Wave 3 right now, which is the higher end model of an Elgato microphone. I have also used a Wave 1. A Wave 1 right now in the UK is £90, and I am gonna plop the Wave 1 into I love it. I used it for about a year on my channel. I love the sound quality. Honestly, the feature of this microphone that I love the most is the clip guard. Basically, when I speak a little bit higher or I get excited whilst I'm playing games, we all know that I like to rage out at my Sims an awful lot. It has an inbuilt tool in its clip guard. When I get too loud, it reduces the sound and means that I'm not gonna hurt your ears. I think it's a great microphone for entry-level creators. It's a USB mic, so it's basically plug and play, but you also get its software with it. The Wave 3 just has a bit of a higher sample rate than the Wave 1. It's honestly not enough for me to notice it personally. I think if you're big into your audio, you probably would. I think the Wave 1 is easier for entry level because it actually only has one setting on the mic, whereas this one actually has 3. I never really use the settings on the microphone though. I prefer to do it all in the software. So the only reason I have the 3 personally is because of that more detailed sample rate. Also, the pop filter, I do have one on my Wave 3 right now. I like it enough. I will say I personally don't think this microphone needs a pop filter. These usually help with plosives and like stopping that wind hitting your microphone. I've never really noticed the difference too much with or without it. I don't think this is a very plosive sounding mic. I basically just use the pop filter because I eat at my desk, and I know people say that you shouldn't do that because it gets all over your keyboard and your microphone. I basically just use it as a protection, and I don't want my microphone getting dusty or dirty. The desk mount actually comes with the microphone, like in its box, but all the extras you do have to pay more for. So the shock mount is £40. However, I do really like it. It's super stable. I've used it on my mics for about a year and a half now, and it definitely hasn't lost its shape. Sometimes I do notice, obviously I use shock mounts an awful lot, the elastic will go in them, but I've been using this, like I said, for probably over a year and a half now, and it's still absolutely fine. It basically just protects your microphone from vibrations. If you slam down on your desk a bit, it just stops the rattling. I really like it as a shock mount, and it fits the Wave perfectly. The extension rods, I'm gonna put these in I need to yell about it. These are not my favorite thing in the world. You don't really need these unless you're using the desk stand and you like want to get the microphone up to your level so that you can talk into it. Definitely not needed if you have a microphone stand that like clips onto your desk. I just find them ridiculously hard to unscrew. I can never ever get a good grip on them. I recently upgraded to the mic arm low profile. Elgato do a classic mic arm, which is kind of like the A-frame that we're used to seeing. I went for the low profile though, because for about 7 years, I used an A-frame and it would always like cut off a part of my monitor. If you watch my old videos, if I'm reading a notification in The Sims, you can see me like get my head like turning around because that was me looking over my mic arm. With this one, it just screws onto the back of my desk. It comes from under my monitor. I love it. It doesn't have an effect on the view of my game. It's super easy just to like move out of the way, as you can probably tell from the sound of my voice, and then to move it back. It's super sturdy. It comes with its own cable management. It's really good quality. It's all metal fitted. It's magnetic. I just really like the way that it looks. And I think Elgato did something with this product that I was wanting for years that I didn't know I wanted. Next up is the Elgato Face Cam, which I have quickly gone into. So usually I record on my DSLR with the Camlink 4K. This is the Elgato Face Cam that's recording right now. I will hold my hands up and say, since I got this, it worked for like 2 weeks and it was fine. And then I actually had an issue with the cable that meant that it was freezing whilst I was trying to use it on OBS. I was trying to do a Lego building stream and it just kept freezing. I kept having to like reactivate it in OBS and then a few seconds later it would freeze. I have since been in touch with Elgato and they sent me a replacement cable. So with saying that, I will say I'm gonna put this in like it. I love the customization that once again you can get through the software for the face cam. Elgato always do software really, really well. I really like the way it looks. I would say I probably wouldn't use this in like a big face cam video where it was just my face. I much prefer my DSLR for those kind of shots. Whereas this is great for like right now in a webcam scenario where you're in a portion of your screen and not covering the whole thing. And I also would have loved a few more options in the software just to get the accuracy of the picture correct. I think it definitely could have done with maybe some color tints like greens and reds and blues, especially for those of you who are used to using a DSLR. However, I do think this is a good like entry-level face cam. It's a major step up from the Logitech C920 that I used to use when I first got into making videos. I would keep in mind though, if your cable does start to give you problems, get in touch with Elgato and they will definitely help you out with that. And back to the Camlink and my Canon 200D, which is the camera that I usually use. I use the Camlink 4K and honestly, I now don't think I'd be able to live without my Camlink. I will say before you buy this, absolutely make sure that your camera is compatible. I've always said this about Elgato products, but I love how much help they offer. They have a YouTube channel where they have tutorials of how to set things up. And that comes in super handy for the Camlink because it can be quite difficult depending on like the autofocus of your camera, the like monitor settings that you have on your little screen of your DSLR. The HD60S, this was my very first Elgato product that I ever used. It's going straight in to I like it. I love the portability of it. It's actually the cheapest like sort of entry-level capture card that Elgato do. I do think it's a great card still, especially if you're wanting to capture console content as well as PC content. The 4K 60S Plus, again, this is a product that I haven't used as much as I want to. I really want to use this product more, but I just haven't had the opportunity to. And that's why it's going in I need to yell about it. Because this is in no way an entry-level product when it comes to Elgato. Usually I think the products are so easy to understand what they're made for, easy to set up, and you can get going with them in about an hour's time. This one I had to do a lot of research for. However, that's because it's made to a very specific specific audience. It's the most expensive. It's £390. This is kind of made for content creators who have been doing this for a fair few years, who really want that upgrade in their content. I think this is made perfectly for creators like myself who are fortunate enough to go on like PR trips, who do record stuff at events. And I think this is where this comes into play so much, because you can just kind of start and stop recording all throughout this device and capture it straight to a memory card, so you don't lose time at an event. You know that your footage is going to be safe and you can literally just record it, and you don't have to transfer files and mess with all of that. Less wires for me to carry, and I can just take this with me. However, I haven't used it as much as I wanted to because events haven't been happening this past year. I think this is a great ally for those of us who are going to events and things, but I just haven't used it enough that I can't really say that I like it or love it. I think it's a really cool idea, but it is pretty spenny as well. The Hd60 Pro, again, another capture card. This actually is an onboard capture card. So if you have a PC desktop, this actually slots into your PCI slot, which terrified me when I first got it because I'm not very good with fiddling around with my PC. I'm always scared I'm gonna break something. I literally did not have to worry at all. It took me about 2 minutes to slot into it. It was super easy to set up, and honestly, now I cannot live without it. I did notice that my HD60 sometimes had a little bit of lag. I have never noticed a lag with my HD60 Pro. It's what I use to record all of my console content, so from my Switch, my PS5, my Xbox. I have used this for like 2 years now. It's been great. The Stream Deck XL, the most expensive of the Stream Decks. I will say, if you don't need this many buttons, you probably don't need this size of a Stream Deck. If you're doing a lot of work and you really want to help out with your workflow, then it's probably worth the money for it. Keep in mind, it is £230, but it's the biggest of the Stream Decks. I'm gonna put this in I like it. I absolutely love how sleek it looks. The casing for the Stream Deck XL is super, super cool. And I think if you need those keys, then this is obviously going to be a step up. The Stream Deck Mark 1, my mum bought this for me for Christmas one year. I used it for absolute years. Honestly, never had an issue with my original Stream Deck. It is, however, going in like it, just because I love how the Mark II one looks, and also I love that you can customize the faceplate. I think Elgato have done a great thing with the Mark II on being able to personalize it in a way that you want to. Makes it look cute with your setup. I'm always down for having cuter colors in setups. Who can blame me? I clearly was not just paying attention because I meant to put my Stream Deck in Can't Live Without It, and then the XL and the Mark 1 even in Love It. I'm also just now realizing I put Love It. I use the Stream Deck for absolutely everything I do. I have so many hotkeys for OBS, switching scenes when I need to whilst I'm streaming, pausing and playing media, and obviously my Sims cheats are also on there. It is basically the hub of my setup, and if there is one product that I had to choose from Elgato that I could never ever get rid of, it would be my Stream Deck. The rest of this video is gonna have them in their original positions, but this is editing Molly coming in to tell you that Stream Deck is in Can't Live Without It. Keep that in mind. The key lights, I absolutely could not live without my Elgato key lights. I go on about my key lights so much. I think lighting can have such an effect on how your camera looks. I think if you pair the key light with the face cam, honestly, your quality is gonna be up there. I love the space-saving feature of my key lights. They are both clamped on to either side of my desk. I obviously live and work out of my bedroom, so I can't have like massive studio lights, and I just think that Elgato have done such a good job with these. I've only ever had them disconnect once and had to reset them. It was super easy to reset them. I use the control on my desktop. The Elgato green screen, I have the freestanding one that you can just pull up. It's super easy to use. Honestly, you can set it up probably in like less than 5 minutes. And if you just have it behind you at all times, you can set it up in less than a minute. And it's going in like it only because I am in such a small area, and I know it has to be a certain size to obviously not have clipping or any issues like that, but like sometimes I just do not have the room for it. But I do think it's a really cool product, and like having it freestanding and then being able to like put it away under my bed is an incredible feature of it. We have the master mount. This is where it gets a little bit confusing because I feel like all of these kind of come together, especially the master mount and the flex arm, but we'll get into that. The master mount is basically a key light stand. So again, it clamps on to wherever you feel like it on your desk. I use mine to hold up my DSLR camera, and I absolutely love it. I now don't think I could live without my master mount. And then as an addition, you can get the flex arm. I have the large flex arm, and that basically is the parts that like come out of my multi-mount so that it holds my camera like closer to my face. I basically use it to come out and over my screens. Again, I could not live without this. It's also super great if you get the large one. It comes with enough extensions that you can play around with angles of your camera. When I do my Lego building streams or unboxings, I tend to add a few more extensions, and then I can point my DSLR down. It just gives me freedom to create whichever videos I find necessary. Then you have the heavy base. Again, all of these are sold separately, so you will have to like kind of decide what is good for you and what you're probably not going to use as much. The heavy base, I will say, I think it's cool. I don't really use it. You can basically use the multi-mount and then this heavy base as a tripod if you want to, but I tend to just use like a traditional tripod. I think it is nice if you don't want to spend that money on a tripod and you just want to use this instead. I definitely like it. I just don't use it as much as I thought I would. The phone grip, I actually really love the phone grip. This also attaches to like any selfie stick that you want to attach it to. It attaches to the multi-mount, to the key light mounts, and it's pretty much all made out of metal, so it feels super sturdy, like way sturdier than any other phone grip that I've used. And the last two, these are two that I want to try. We have the wall mount and we have the wave panels. And I don't really feel like I need these. These are basically foam insulation so that your sound doesn't bounce around as much. I am in the corner of my room, so I think I want to try these just to like kind of put 3 up behind my setup and then 3 on the wall here, just to see if it would stop, because sometimes I do notice there's a little bit of echo in my room. I kind of just want to try them to see if they would have an effect. Also, I do think they just look really sick. I know a lot of creators have taken these and then also taken the light strips that Elgato sell and have done like a funky little pattern around the outside of them with their light strips, and honestly, I love a good RGB. And then these wall mounts are just like such a cool idea. You can use these to apply your key lights, so if you don't want to clamp them onto the back of your desk, you could just buy a couple of the wall mounts, stick them to your wall, and then have your lights basically protruding from your wall, which is just... I never thought that the year of 2021 would bring us these. I just think they can make your setup look so clean. I wouldn't know what to do about the wiring or like cable management, but it's kind of like having a floating camera. I really want to try them. I just think that's such a cool idea. And again, same as the multi-mount really, it gives you that flexibility for like different angles, maybe something that you wouldn't expect. If you wanted to use your face cam as like a second angle, which is why I kind of want to try these. I want to stick it to like the side or have it like face my setup so that you can kind of see what I'm seeing. I just think it's fun to play around with that sort of stuff. I will say when it comes to my video, I don't use any filters or anything like that. I just use my DSLR settings and obviously the Camlink 4K. And also the same goes for my audio. I don't edit my audio whatsoever. Basically what you hear in my videos is what my Wave 3 records. I hope this video was helpful. If you need me to answer any other questions that you might have about these products listed, absolutely feel free to let me know in the comments down below, and I will try and get back to as many of you as possible or point you in the right direction. I also hope that this was helpful. If you're hopeful to get any of these over the holiday season, let me know what's on your wish list from the Elgato family. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you to Elgato for believing in me and sponsoring me as a creator. I appreciate you all so much, and I will speak to you all in the next one. Also, enjoy your holiday period. Bye now.